On the one side of the coin, you have Link as a payment token. So Link is the standard form of payment for all Chainlink services. And that's both directly users or applications paying in Link to network service providers for some service like data, compute, or cross-chain. But also Chainlink is increasingly working on what's called like a payment abstraction solution where end users applications can actually pay in the assets that they already have. And on the back end, it gets converted to Link and paid to the node operator. So it abstracts that whole process away. And so in Web3, that could be users paying in native L1 gas coins or stable coins that they already hold. And this can even expand in Web2 to paying like with a credit card or paying with a bank account using something like account abstraction. Like it abstracts that whole process away while on the back end still enshrining Link as the currency paid to network service providers, which is basically means as services are consumed, that means more Link has to be consumed and acquired in order to pay the service providers who then have their performance tied to the value of Link itself. And that's always been kind of the historical utility of Link ever since the day one launch. The other side of this coin, I would say, is Link as a staking token, which that's something that's increasingly expanded over time. Chainlink launched initial version of staking last year in December, and a new version's rolling out later this year, v0.2. But that's effectively network service providers locking up Link to back as a commitment the performance of their of the Oracle services that they power. And it's very similar to blockchain staking in the sense that you're locking up tokens, but it's also very different because blockchain validators that stake, they're securing the validation of transactions and network state, which can be done in a very deterministic, predictable way using historical state and cryptography. But in Oracle networks, you're dealing with a very non-deterministic, a very unpredictable environment. It's a little bit harder to come to a ground truth. So like you have some metrics like uptime and latency and participating in consensus that you can track. But when it comes to each individual Chainlink service, data, cross-chain, or compute, there may be different attributes that a user cares about. Like data accuracy matters for data feeds. For transaction automation, that's not really a concept that exists that you can slash node operators for. So each service can have different, basically service level agreements defining this is what a node operator needs to do. But I think what people would really be interested in here is that, eventually Chainlink node operators are going to basically be on par in terms of performance. They'll be 99.99% uptime, reliability, participating in consensus. So how do node operators differentiate themselves? Because Chainlink's not one monolithic network. It's actually this two-sided marketplace for building networks. Ultimately, that's how much staked Link that they can actually put up as collateral to back their the performance that they can offer users. And so it becomes this inner competition between node operators competing with one another who could provide the most collateral, and ultimately eventually even competition between different Chainlink networks within the whole Chainlink ecosystem of different service providers launching their own price feeds with their own properties, all operating on the same economic layer, but different independent networks competing with one another. And the staked Link is effectively how they compete with one another.